Trudeau.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be here among you on such a beautiful day. Bonjour à tous. What an extraordinary time to be here to gather with this great community. I want to thank Jati for his kind introduction, for his hard work in the House of Commons. I want to recognize that you've been a strong leader within the local community, and you do a great work representing the people of Mission, Matsqui, Fraser Canyon. I want to also recognize the presence of my dear friend and an honest-to-goodness Canadian hero, Harjit Sajjan, the Honourable Minister of Defence, from whom I learn lessons about service every day. Service first as a police officer, as a decorated veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, and now as a minister in Her Majesty's government. It is such a pleasure to work with you every day, Harj. I also want to recognize the strong members of the Pacific Caucus, the great team of Liberal MPs who were elected in the last election who are here today, municipal councillors. I also want to recognize that we're here in the riding of the Honourable Ed Fast, who was invited to join with us today, who was unable to be here, but certainly sends his very best and his greetings. Thank you all for coming out, everyone. It's a tremendous pleasure for me to be here at the Sikh Temple in Abbotsford, which has been a pinnacle of this community for over 100 years. We've partaken in prayer and toured your beautiful museum, and I've spoken with friends new and old. As the oldest Gurdwara in North America, the importance of this sacred place is not lost on me. Dès 1905, les Sikhs d'Abbotsford ont travaillé fort pour s'enraciner et développer un profond sentiment d'appartenance à la communauté. Nous savons d'ailleurs que lorsque les portes de cet édifice se sont ouvertes pour la première fois en 1911, autant Sikhs que non-Sikhs ont pris part aux célébrations. Et en 2002, l'ancien Premier ministre Jean Chrétien a désigné le temple Sikh Gour comme lieu historique national. Vous pouvez donc vous imaginer que c'est un très grand honneur pour moi de le visiter aujourd'hui en tant que Premier ministre. You know, I've attended a number of events recently for Vaisakhi, including the Nagar Kirtan in Toronto. And while the celebrations were, of course, joyous, I've always made it a point to highlight and to speak about a particular blight on Canada's mostly proud history. Speaking, of course, the Komagata Maru. It's a story that your community sadly knows all too well, but one that all Canadians need to remember and keep in mind as we strive to always build a better future that recognizes our mistakes. You see, the year was 1914. A steamship sailed into Burrard Inlet in Vancouver. There were 376 people on board looking for hope, looking for opportunity. They caught a glimpse of the Canadian dream, and we turned them away. Save for a few, the passengers were forced to turn around and go back to India. The consequences that awaited them there were tragic. Last year, I stood in the House of Commons and apologized for that incident, a black mark in our history books. It was important for me personally to acknowledge formally the role that the Canadian government had played in that gross injustice. And it was equally important for me to offer an apology rooted in the knowledge that only by remembering and owing up to our failings can we avoid their repetition. Because, my friends, we know and we show what is possible when we embrace diversity, when we open our hearts to our fellow women and men of every possible background, creed, language, story, and culture. Because the result of that compassion and that celebration of uniqueness is Canada. We are a country made strong by the things that set us apart. Most of the time, we are a true and shining example of multiculturalism done right. We mustn't forget that. We mustn't forget the mistakes and the learnings that we took on this path. This year, we celebrate Canada's 150th anniversary. And this milestone gives us reason to pause in quiet reflection. Because people came to this land with the desire to build a better future for themselves and their family. This land that we think of as the new world, but in fact, it's a very ancient world, peopled for millennia by our Indigenous brothers and sisters who understood the beauty, the bounty, the responsibility that comes with caring for this extraordinary place. And as the first settlers arrived, struggled through long winters and vast spaces, we learned also from the people who'd understood the strength of this land and the need to be there for each other for millennia, the importance of being open to one another, the importance of being welcoming. That understanding from the very beginning informed what we are today. A country that truly understands that different backgrounds, different perspectives, different points of view add richness and success and resilience to our communities. And in this 150th anniversary year, we do look back over the 150 years since we've been a country on paper, centuries more. People have lived this land, going back thousands and thousands of years. Now we take this moment to reflect on the future that we want to build together from the lessons we've learned. And in 150 this year, we're celebrating things like youth and environment. We're also celebrating diversity. And we are also acknowledging the mistakes of the past. And as we talk about the Komagata Maroon, so too must we speak of reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, of understanding the mistakes that were made, the choices that were deliberately made, to marginalize, to ignore, to break the bonds of respect that should have united us all. Canada's history is not without deep challenges and opportunities to reflect and learn from mistakes and hurts of the past. But that must give us the strength to stand together and pledge, not just this year, but every year, to work together, to respect each other, to learn from each other, to build opportunity and justice for each other as we walk into the future, truly hand in hand, all communities together. The Canada that we know, that we love, that we rebuild every single day, the place that didn't happen by accident and won't continue without effort. This place is a place that is filled with welcome and with grace. So let us never forget that as we shape the next 150 years. Merci tellement, mes amis, d'être ici aujourd'hui. Waheguru Kikakasa.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we'd like to, on behalf of the Casa Duan Society, thank the Prime Minister for his gracious visit to our Gurdwara, and I'm sure on everyone's behalf that we're much honored that he attended our community. I also request, ladies and gentlemen, that you not approach the Prime Minister. Let him come by and approach you, please. Thank you. That concludes the ceremony for today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.